All right, there it is. I was looking for the headphone set. We got it. Here's Doc from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening somewhere. And good morning, Janos. Let's check it out. Let's see where NVDA is today. Where are you today, NVDA? I know that the weekly... Let me just show you on the beta where the weekly is. Right there. You see that weekly is still not giving it up. You know, it's gliding along and refusing to stop. You know, it doesn't look like it's going into the weekly sell whatsoever. And at the same time, let's jump over to the other platform. Open. There we go. And let's put that up there again. NVDA on that. Let's see. There it goes. There it is. And you can see here on a daily basis, it's playing with the daily sell. Yeah. Whoa, pushed that wrong. So you can see right here, you know, went into the sell on Friday. It's the same way as we speak right now with the live system right here. You see it closed in a daily sell on Friday. Let's put the line in there. Where's the line? Line. Put that line in there to remind us. Right there. Went into the sell there. Went into the buy. I guess it was in a buy for a couple of days, like right there. Let's just put that line in too. Right there. So, you know, NVDA is got its issues. You know, in other words, it's hanging around in the 120s. You know, did that wild move up to here in the 140 area about 7-8 days ago now. What is that? 3, 6, 8 days ago. You know, and that's today. It's a little down, so nothing major. And you know, it just is the NVDA. Look, it's a very solid company. Has great potential. It's doing super work, you know, and so I mean, when you know, some people, I think we talked about it last week, you know, has the potential to double from here. So in other words, go from 123 to possibly 250 or something like that. So that doesn't surprise me any. I think you said when I told you I heard that around here, you said, yeah, that'd be like a 10% move. Exactly. Yeah, it's just a 10% move into compared to what it was. Getting back up to the 140 by mid-July. You know, it looks like, you know, if we get into a daily buy, I guess what they need to do is maybe take it down a little bit. Let me tell you what the buzz on some of the financial channels is today in the United States. One is that they're looking at the return for the last 2 years of the S&P 500. And there's no doubt that obviously this particular stock is a pillar of carrying the index up, you know, 6 or 7%, something like that, 8%. So the talk is that a lot of money, you know how I say here during the webinars, there's a lot of money still on the sidelines. They've missed a lot of this move. And, you know, what do they do now? You know, and so money managers are usually not very flighty. In other words, they're not schizoids in the head, you know. They're disciplined. They stay consistent. They matter of fact, in the hedge fund industry in particular, when a hedge fund manager who has a good track record, you know, has a couple bad years, and it's not from buying something that goes to zero, but it's more like underperformance. Money comes into them and says, hey, we think that you're like a stock and that you're probably going to turn up in earnings. You know, you'll get your, you know, you'll invest and it'll be in your favor now. You missed the last couple of years. Okay. So one of the big conversations right now is that because of them missing, a lot of funds have missed a lot of this action because it was in the significant 7 stocks, you know, the top 7 stocks. And it equaled almost the same return as the other 493 stocks in the S&P 500. So the chances now are more of, uh, this stock will probably do well because a lot of people have missed it, and it still has, at this point, because of the split from $1,000 down to $100, and now managers are saying, this thing has, could double still from here. That which is only a 10% move, but that's pretty damn good, And so money will probably come into this, especially every time they see an opportunity. And so, that does not surprise me any if that happens. That makes, could it get back to 140 in 5 or 6 days or 7 days? Possibly. Depends on the bounce of the way people are feeling. I think most of the energy in this market is the fact that Mr. Trump is going to win. I've believed that now for like 7-8 months. Because he's been leading in the polls for 7-8 months. He's leading in the betting by almost 20%. So I think that money's coming in and saying, yeah, you want to be long more than short or long more than in bonds. And this particular stock is literally the Mount Fuji, or the Mount, it's the tallest point out of all of them. Who do you want to buy if you're going to try to be long in the stock market? Well, this stock is definitely one of them. And so, yeah, I think there's potential there. So we'll see. We get into a daily buy, and the thing may take off. It could make a move back up. Just like we're saying. I hope that answers your question there. All right, now from there, let's see. Where am I at? Oh, yes. So let's look at the other two stocks that you suggested. ARM did move upwards. So Amazon and SPY. I think SPY closed in a daily sell on Friday. Let's go back to that. There it is right there. Yeah, it closed in a daily sell on Friday. It's a little bit higher today. Not much, but a little. You can see there's no weakness in the weekly. Not on the fast algo right there. Not on the slow algo with the white and the green line. They're, pretty firm. Part of that conversation that I've been hearing on a couple of the financial channels today is that the investors have been overly invested in bonds for the last 2 years, taking that 4.5%, 5%. And the problem is that the S&P 500 or SPY has returned. Last year it returned 24%, and this year it's up 20%. So that's 44% versus 5%. So there's a lot of hunger out there to be invested, and the bigger question is, will it come into the market? Will it come into the market? I would assume it will. Money managers, as I said before, are rarely flighty or schizoid in the head. They are usually very disciplined. So when they have bad years, they underperform, not bad, but just underperform a market, they could start to, lift other stocks, hoping to be part of the next move. And say some might be thinking, maybe there's 4 or 5 more percent in the S&P 500, and that could be 3 or 4 more percent in the NVDA. That's a possibility. And 3% of NVDA is another 7 points or 5 point. What's it? 4.5 points. So from here, you're looking at an NVDA at 23.24, 123.24. So you're really looking at a possibility of like 131, 132. And if they get nervous and they think, "Oh my God, I'm missing the boat," type of thing, let's see. Let's take a look at the ARM. Let's see, where's that at? Right there. Let's close that. Close workspace. There we go. Is that right? No, cancel. It's the wrong product. Let's go over there and get rid of the ARM. Let's get the ARM up there and get rid of the NVDA. Close workspace. Yes. Okay, now let's go open up the other stocks. Let's take a look at you wanted to look at Amazon right there. Here comes Amazon. Amazon's I hear a lot of positive news on Amazon. There's a lot of money that looks at Amazon and says, you know what, something's brewing over there. It just got through the $2 trillion mark. You can see today it's up firm right there. You can see that the daily itself is trying to dip down. It came in a daily buy for the last 3 days. Let's put that line in there. So, it's in the buy for the last 3 days. And you can see the weekly looks like a rocket shot, really. It's taken out these highs over here. Matter of fact, let's see when last time this thing was up that high. Okay. So the last time it made a move like that, it went from, what did it do? It was down here in the 155.60 area. And it shot up like a moonshot up to 175 and kept on climbing to 190. So it picked up like 30 points. And so it's starting to do that again, especially now that we've just come out of the weekly buy. Out of the weekly sell a couple weeks back, and now we're starting the third week. So this has the potential to make a $30 move or something like that. There's a real strong feeling that Amazon could go chase the $3 trillion mark. That's everybody's getting excited about these $3 trillion companies, and they're looking for who's the next $3 trillion company. So you got Microsoft, NVDA, and Apple are the $3 trillion companies, and they're looking to see who's going to be the fourth. Wait a minute, did I say that right? Microsoft, NVDA, and Apple. And so they're looking to see who the next one might be. And there's a lot of opinion out there that the Amazon, it could be the next $3 trillion company. Now you're talking about a $40 move or $50 move in the stock, probably something like that. $60, $70. I guess $60, $70 move in the stock. But in a world that has very few companies that are leading their industries, this is one of them. So they may take off. This could be that situation, and that's really where we're at the moment. So the chances of a better performance out of Amazon is possible versus the NVDA, but NVDA would join in. There's no doubt about that. It would be no doubt that it would join in. So, and then did I show you SPY? I think I did show you SPY. Yeah, I did. I showed you SPY. How SPY is lifting up, is in a daily sell, and just trying to lift up today. Let me just go back to it again for you. I probably just naturally used the SPY because of, yeah, that's what we did. We looked at the SPY there. So, it's pressing to try to, went into the sell on Friday, but the weeklies are too firm. That's right. Yeah, I did mention that. Okay, that's cool. All right, now it says, any chances of NVDA getting back? Okay, we answered that. And the ARM. Let's put the ARM in there. Let's find the ARM. Where is it at? Right there. Close workspace. Yes. And so let's open up the ARM and see what that looks like. Let's see. There's Tesla. That's the option Tesla right there. And it's up again today. They're taking it up at the moment as we speak. And there is ARM right there. ARM is still in a daily buy. It's starting off quiet and low this morning. In a weekly buy. So, it's holding firm, I guess you could say. It moved up almost $10 from that buy signal. What was the high there? 170.88 was it? Okay, from 160. So, it looks all right to me. I don't see any real weakness at the moment. You see the fast algorithm on the weekly trying to turn down through the manifold right here. does that necessarily mean it's going to roll over and puke? I don't really think so. I really don't see it that way. Who is texting me now? Ah. Okay. Yeah, so there's the arm. And where do we go from here? I guess now we'll jump back over to currencies. And speaking of currencies, they did form the government over the weekend, and they in South Africa, and they front run the move. Of course, it's very hard for politicians not to try to make some make some money out of these things. But what happened was that everybody but the communist and the Zuma parties got no government positions. They refused to join. They want to basically kill a third of the population or something like that. So you're not going to get much traction. What was really funny is they mentioned the Zulu party, they referred to them. I guess they don't know who the Zulus are. You know how young people write today, and they have no idea. And the Zulu party was called the Anti-Immigrant Party. I love that. The far-right Anti-Immigrant Party. And I thought that was, I've talked about ANC, and I've talked about apartheid here throughout the years, that apartheid was not a racist thing. It was a anti-immigrant thing. And so what apartheid did is they were the liberals, the center right or center. And what they did is they gave immigrants a voting right of 1/3 or 1/2 or things like that. So, and what happened was the world called that racist. But the main partner to the de Klerk's government was the Zulu party. And the Zulu party is the Zulu nation, which is indigenous people of that region, and so they're Africans, and so they're not white, and they were against the immigration, and so they had full votes because they didn't like the illegal immigration. They were always fighting with the white Afrikaners, saying stop giving them votes, and the white Afrikaners would give them like half a vote, and so it went and cooked them at the end, and so it's so funny to see it today in the news information center, of places, the center type of news. They called the Zulu political party, which got about 7-8% of the vote, that they're the far right anti-immigrant party. And I bet they don't even realize that the Zulus are Africans and they're not white. So I had to laugh at that. Oh, my God. So, it's just the crazy news stuff anymore, Yeah, VIX is up about 5%, but the SPY and SPX are not moving pre-market. Can you show the South African rand prior to the elections? Oh, yeah. And we saw that they front-run them. Let's go right here. I have that already up there. There it is. And so before the election, this is where, before the election occurred, this was the move. And then the election occurred. It jumped up. And then this was like this move here. They were doing the election, and the ANC got only 39% of the vote. And so all of a sudden it fell right down. That was the election. So it was about 21 days ago, the election. So they finally put the what do you call it, the Unity Party together, and the DA and there's a couple of good parties. They split, I guess, the ministry positions. So the ANC got 12, and then the other 12. So it was 24 ministries, and so the other 12. 6 went to DA, which is the old white South African party, and then the Zulus are 7%. They got 3, and then there's like a capitalist party or something like that. They got like 3. So it's interesting. And in Zuma, the former president of two presidents back now, who's lives in exile because he was out there machine gunning Zulus. Zulus and the ANC were battling it out, especially the Zuma party. People were dead in the roads and the streets. I remember talking about it here. Zuma went haywire, total haywire. They were out killing people, and that's what that is their party. I guess that's their party plank. I guess you call it. What the Zuma party wants is they want to remove all white people from South Africa through violence. So that's I have to. I don't know how to say it any other way. That's the weirdest stuff. And so he broke away, and his party got 14% of the vote. His in Parliament they have 14% of the vote. They have seats, 14% of the seats, and then there's another one. It's like a communist one. It got like 3% of the vote. So, it's definitely still. I guess you could say it's still all in motion. Problem is that Zuma is in exile because he can't come into the country because he'll be arrested because they have him. They actually have like videos and things like that, and for days, and he was out there leading his groups, and they were killing. They were going after the Zulus. Responded, and they came back because they look at Zuma and the Zulu nation, the state of I think it's Swaziland. And so they look at these old illegal immigrants who have changed the country into put Mr. Mandela into power. They see that as a very negative thing. So that's why Zuma was trying to kill, attacking Swaziland after he left the presidency, and that was like 3-4 years ago. It was really weird stuff, That's where we're at. That's the South African situation. So because you can see now, this morning, you can see how low the South African rand was after they formed the government. That's Friday's close. Formed it over the weekend. In the beginning, they brought it down. Now you can see it's trying to bounce back up again. But the weekly is still in the sell. Fast is trying to turn. I'm not totally convinced that means a lot. It's we'll see, but I think it has a 33% haircut, as I say. That's what we used to call it on the trading floors. We think that there's a premium in here that is 33% that shouldn't be there. In other words, it's a risk factor, and I would think that the South African rand is going to keep on trying to break this triangle that we've been staring at now for over a year. This is ever since the former president, after Zuma, got caught. Let me show you what happened. He got caught with $1 million of cash. There it is, right there. We have it written into the screen there. Let's move this over a little bit more. And so what happened was policies, politics, $500,000 in cash. So the currency was down in the 17s, and the moment that happened, they found $500,000 in his office in cash. The currency went from 17 to almost up to 20. So that's, to me, that's like a third of 17 is like what's a third of 17? Basically 5. So that's maybe 5.7 basically. So 5.66, something like that. So I kind of believe that this could move down into the if the government really starts to function again like pre Mandela, then what could happen is that the currency could move back down into the 12s and 13s, that area there, gain against the dollar. But Nelson Mandela era seems to be coming towards an end of the communist rule of South Africa, and I guess Zuma, the president before the last president, was really, he was the sixth. There were like 5 or 6 in prison in this closed prison, and they kept Nelson Mandela and all these other four leaders in there of the ANC, because the ANC was an outlawed political party because they were communist. And so when they finally legalized the ANC, and then Mr. Mandela became the first president of the ANC, each one of them that was in the prison would become the next president, and Zuma was in the prison there too. And there was only like 6 people or 5 people in that prison. That was it. And people would interview Nelson Mandela and talk about how one vote, one person, and a lot of people would say one time, that type of thing. And end result is that it's the first time there's a unity party since Nelson Mandela and de Klerk. So that's pretty much, if they stay in that fashion and move to the center and try not to annihilate a third of the population through state-sponsored terrorism, that would be a really good thing. That could really help the currency out a lot. And that might put really charges into gold too. Let's since we're there, let's go take a look at gold. I mean, gold is follows the South African rand because they're the largest producer in the world. So there's gold there, and you can see it's firm. Now on Thursday they knew it was coming. There's Friday. They had a general idea, and you can see it popped just the same way the South African rand did, and now it's pulling back to the Friday close. So, and you can see here the weekly is trying to turn up, and that is the magic of it all at this point. So that's the name of that story, really. Let me think. What else do we have going on here? I guess that's about it. Let's see, what's the last question on there? Can you show us something? Yeah, okay, there it is. And so I gave you a little good background of what we're watching when it comes to gold and what could be a new day of, in other words, what do they say when there's going to be new buyers or more buying in something that's already run? Because you got to imagine you're looking at gold that's made a move from like the 1500, 1600 area, or is it the 1300 area, all the way up to the 2200 area. All right, and then it's kind of back. It's trying to back and fill, and it's not really taking out any major lows. I mean, they seem to support the 2300 area, as you can see right there. They bring it down to this 2300 area over the last 4 months, and they come there again and again and again. And it doesn't seem like they're really putting that much pressure. The last time it was at 2000 was all the way back in where was it at? Back in October of 23 of last year. So it's really, if we see a firmer South African rand, we're going which is gaining against the dollar, which means it's moving down, not up. Gains against the dollar. We could see some strength in the gold. We're new buying. That's the word I was looking for. New buying. Yeah. So, all right. From there, what should we do here? Oh, let's go take a look at the euro. See what the euro is up to. And there is the euro right there. You see the euro is lifting up this morning. I saw something about the European Union. Let's see. PA grandma qualifies for Olympics. Oh, okay. A grandma qualifies for Olympics in Paris. How about that? What did she do? How about that? People. She could be in her 40s. Late 40s, something like that. Some of these swimmers are really doing it in their late 40s. I don't think it's Ledecky. Ledecky's going to rock again, I'm sure. She's just incredible. One of the greatest swimming athletes in history. So, what else we got going on? So that's the euro. You see that strength. You can see it's still in the weekly sell, though. They don't seem to be able to get it out of that situation at the moment. It just still seems to be bouncing along. It's constantly bouncing along. I know I'm not bearish on the euro. It's the second most active currency in the world. The second largest economy in the world, the European Union. So I just figured it. Let's see, Biden's okay. So I mean that's pretty much where we stand at the moment. All right, now from there, let's see. Let's go take a look at the British pound. See how the Commonwealth is doing there. There it is. There, it's pretty firm. It's climbing into the buy today. Also, it's been in a weekly sell for just 2 weeks, starting a third week. Whereas the euro, I think it's 4 weeks now, isn't it? No, yeah. Euro's been in a weekly sell for 4 weeks in the slow, and it looks like it's trying to, it's just steadying sideways at this point. I got a tweet. Tesla gapping. Yeah, it's up. That's what we showed you. Next week could reach 217. That would not surprise me. Tesla has been sold down. Money's looking for some cheap places to go. In other words, undervalued or something down. Tesla's down over 25% for the year. Here, let's just show you what's going on in Tesla. Yeah, and this is the option right there. And you can see the big gap in it this morning. And you can see it's trying to play with the sell as we speak, but it's in a weekly buy. And the same situation is here. Here's the stock itself. Same situation. And you can see it's been in a weekly buy for a solid 3 weeks now. Is that today? No, it's not even showing today's update yet on the weekly. Let me fix the weekly here. There we go. Let's go like that. See if that does it. Yep, there it is. So there is that. Now you can see here the fast climbed up there in the 178 area, and now we're at 201, and we went into the weekly buy, basically in the slow algorithm at the 177 area, and it's making that nice move there. So there's some real action going on. It's going on a fifth day in a buy. It's trying to peel back a little bit. We'll see how it acts over the next couple hours. But yeah, we're seeing that action there, and we follow. There's something called the TSLY, and what that does is they own the stock, and they sell calls against it. And you can see it's trading at $16.38. It's come off from $14 low, no more than like 3 weeks back. We went into the buy and at $14.75, and now we are trading at $16.38. So that's, when you look at the return on that, that's even higher because it has the options in it. But you can see also it's weakening a little bit there. So we'll see. But it's in a weekly buy, so you don't want to sell it, that's for sure. Next week could reach 17. Oh, it calls it 200. I did a dumb look at Tesla trends and deviations. It looks like it could be 240 by mid-August. Let's go back to the stock. But yeah, I think what's it at 17 now? Yeah, it's at 201 right now. That's where it's at the moment, trading 201. So, it could lift. Like I said, their money. They were part of the Magnificent Seven for a long while. So money has a natural tendency to go back and do what was winning. That's how momentum players trade. That's what they call them, momentum traders. And so, what's the? Let's see if we can find this. Let's see how far back we go. Yeah, there we go. I mean, no more than February. No, at the end of the year, it was at 270. So you're talking about a Tesla trading at 270 at the beginning of the year. It fell down to the 200 area in January. By the end of January, it had lost $70, and it was hovering in the bouncing. That became a resistance. See that right there? The 200 became a resistance. So I would imagine 210 to 220. Yeah, I could see that. In between there somewhere. A move back up into that area, that would make sense. You can see it did that pop right there on April at at the very end of April of this year, it got up almost to $200, and then they peeled it back down to 170 again. And it's been really supporting the 170 area for the last 3 months. So, or 2.5 months, something like that. So now, we've taken out this high there over the last couple of days. Being in a daily buy and a weekly buy, it makes sense to me that it's going up. That's for sure. It's going to be going up more as long as it stays in a daily buy and a weekly buy. It should be climbing. Agreed. I agree. Right. From there, we might even call the webinar today, since you're talking stocks, might call it NVDA and Tesla. Looking very firm. That's a good way of describing it. Let's see. From there, what do we do from Tesla? Okay, so let's go back. Where were we? Currencies, right? Yeah, that's it. There's cable. No, that's euro, right? So euro, 4 weeks there, as I was comparing it to the cable. Cable's 2 weeks there, and we'll see if it fights its way out of this and goes back up to the 128 area. From there, we'll go over to the inflation fighters, and that's the Swiss. It's been climbing since that daily buy, but look at that. The weekly now is heading back up again. A little surprising, but you remember they've lowered interest rates twice, something that the Fed has been trying to do 7 times since November and failed at it every time. So that is kind of curious, You hear, you see the numbers, you see the action. The Federal Reserve started whining about, U.S. Federal Reserve started whining about they wanted to lower interest rates back in November of last year. Here we are heading for the middle of the summer. We're going into, not the beginning of the summer, we're going into July now. Today's July 1st. And here we are. They have not been able to lower it once. And they're dying to do so. Biden keeps on saying it over and over again. They're going to lower it. They're going to lower it. They're going to lower it. I would say ever since that debate, I don't know. They got to do something to help Biden out. So, and the bigger question is, would it help Biden out if they lowered rates at this point? I kind of doubt it. I think he basically shot himself in the foot last Thursday. You can't. We've been telling you for a while Joe is like that. We've been telling, matter of fact, I've been saying it since the day he became president. We've had, he doesn't live much more than like 30 miles from, under 40 kilometers away from me. He's a mess. Sometimes he has one house that's only like 30 kilometers away or 25 kilometers away. Is that far? No, I'm sorry. He's about 45 kilometers away. And so, and the end result is that I've seen him all his life as a politician, and he makes no sense. He's a local, and he's always says foolish things and does dumb things. He does them all the time. It's normal for Joe, and that's what they say. Oh, that's just Joe. That's how they respond to it. Oh, that's just Joe. If he says something derogatory towards Africans, they say, "Oh, that's just Joe." And then when he says derogatory about subcontinent Indians from India, "Oh, that's just Joe." They never take it serious. It's somehow or another he doesn't really mean it. They're pretending. "Oh, Joe just says that stuff. Don't worry about it. He's a good guy. Don't worry. He doesn't mean it." And so, you saw him in full blossom on Thursday of last week, where he's just a stumble bumble. He's really okay. He can read a teleprompter, but he can't really think out loud at the same time and talk. Can't do that. And he hasn't been able to do that for decades. And so that is what it is. But anyway, that might get the interest rates dropped because they're so desperate to do something for him. So we'll see. The economists, the ones that don't have the Nobel Prizes and the socialist connections, are saying it's insane. Don't lower interest rates. Instead, they're talking about raising them still because inflation is still very harsh. So, heard a really. I'll leave you with this part out of all that. I heard a story over the weekend. Someone I guess they went to the store. They went to Walmart. You may know of Walmart. I think they're international. and Walmart's the biggest commercial store in the United States. They actually employ like 11% of the population. And on the receipt, they bought 47 items. And on the receipt, it said it cost like $127. Now, what you can do, Walmart is very sophisticated. You can take that receipt and go online and reorder if you belong to Walmart. And you go, reorder this, and it has a code. You reorder that last purchase, or reorder this purchase number 62 or whatever it is, with 147 items. I'm sorry, just 47 items. And I understand that it came out over $300. So it didn't just double; it basically almost tripled. Matter of fact, I think it was like $360 because I remember someone saying it tripled. So, inflation is really still a big burden over here. We're having a real problem with the inflation. And so they need interest rates to come down because people are borrowing to survive. So that's the answer to it all, really. All right, from the Swiss franc, we go over to the Japanese yen. And the yen is now trading at 161 at a 40-year high. It's having issues. Wonder what the Nikkei is doing. Let's see where the Nikkei is. That's a curious thing. Nikkei, where are you, Nikkei? There it is, Nikkei. Nikkei was a little down for the day, but it's still in a buy for like the last 9 days. Just show it to you here. Yeah. And then you can see the weekly, it's in a weekly buy now for 2 full weeks. So probably heading for a third week. So that's they're really, I saw some really ugly stories over the last couple of days about, Japan. They're having real problems. They've got, I think another minister is going to, let me think. I think they just replaced another minister. It just goes on and on with the corruption and, the problems. It was the currency. I think it was the minister that's like watches over the currency and is part of the portfolio of the Bank of Japan. And that really, did it again. Yeah, just one more problem. He got removed now because he didn't do whatever he was supposed to do. I thought they were going to, intervene at 152. Here we are almost at 162. They're really having a hard time keeping the, keeping that currency calm. It's starting to act like the, let's put it this way, it's not acting like the Great Experiment, but it's definitely hurts. I mean, it's gone from, basically since, like 115 to 160 something. I mean, of course, the Turkish lira would be happy to just go from 1.2 to 1.8, not 36. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing going on there. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the Great Experiment. You can see it's backing off. It's in a daily sell for 3 days. And it's actually flirting with the weekly sell as we speak. So we're really happy to see this thing just calm down. Calm down. Get a grip on yourself. Here's a currency that went from 1 to 36. It's like, oh my God. Not like 1.1 to 1.36. 1.00 to 35.00. So that's or 36.00. That's a brutal. That's hypersonic inflation. That's what that is. All right, and then from there we've seen what the South African rand is doing. Let's widen out again. Calm it down. Yeah. There it is right there. Look, I think that now, I think you see this move that they had in the South African rand, and we mentioned this weeks ago. Now that this centrist government has won, and now they've filled the ministry positions and of sharing a government, Now I guess people are going to say, let's see the real policies. In other words, let's see. Now you've done all this stuff. Let's see what you do. And so that's where we are now with the South African rand. It's, doing that. So why don't we look at silver now, since we already seen what gold is doing. And so there it is right there. Silverado is right there. Silver's trying to lift. It closed on Friday in a daily buy, and it's trying to. The weekly is trying to turn up more. You can see that there. When it comes to copper, there's copper, and copper's doing that same thing. It's trying to turn up. Closed at a daily buy last week, and now it's working on the. You can see the fast is broken through the zero line. The slow is playing with the manifold. They're starting to lift the product there too at the same time. Then from there we go over to the platinum, and there's the platinum. You see the pressure on that, and you see it there. And platinum is not joining in, and it's in that weekly sell, and it closed last week in the buy on the fast algo, but the slow algo is below the zero line, and it's below the manifold even. So it's not even, they're not really showing any real demand or any conviction. I did see an article. They were talking about it about the volume is very low in a lot of products around the exchanges. A lot of, in other words, you're not seeing the price action as much as you're seeing the volume action, where they're just not participating. And obviously, I think it's a buyer's strike. It's not a seller's market. In other words, I don't think they're out there selling it. I think they just stopped buying it. That's all it comes down to. That's why the volume is down. All right, from there we'll go over and take a look at crude oil, and there is crude, and you can see there crude is trying to lift up. You can see it there too at the same time. It slid into the sell on Friday, and already Monday it's trying to lift back up again. It's still in the weekly buy. They have no real interest in knocking it down. Same thing with what we call heating oil. This is the type of oil for machines that it's a combination. It's like diesel. And it feeds the airplanes. They use the heating oil to run their engines because they don't use they use like a diesel type thing. It's how do you describe that? I guess basically what it comes down to is that that's an energy that for the winter time, and we kind of we've seen how the natural gas is acting. It's kind of lifting up here at the heating oil a little bit. Natural gas, on the other hand, has been gliding down, and that company in Spain. I'm sorry, not South Africa. In Spain, let's just put that up on the screen. See what that's doing right there. And so you can see there, it's backed off also at the same time. It's where's it at? It's lifting up a little bit today. It started to go after the $20 area, and today they've lifted it back up a little bit. And then by the end of the day, they could knock it back down again. You can see how many days it's been in a sell, and it's been in a weekly sell for 4 solid weeks, going on a 5th week. So, yeah, I mean it's a lot of pressure on it, and then let's see what Brent is doing. Right there's Brent. That's not Brent. No, not getting Brent today. It must be switching contracts. That's what happens. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let's see what the international stock indices are doing. We saw Nikkei. Let's take a look at what do we got here? Let's look at. We'll find it in a second. Let's find the Kospi. There's Taiwan. Let's show you Taiwan since I see it. And there's Taiwan. You see it's been lifting back up, and it's still trying to climb into a weekly buy. The Kospi over in South Korea was kind of firm. There it is there. It's still in a weekly buy for a fourth week. And at the same time, daily for at least 6 days now. And you can see it's going after the highs again. And then we go over to, like I said, Taiwan was roaring along for all the threats and everything that China is doing to them. They don't seem to care. And let's take a look at the Shanghai. Shanghai bounced on Friday, and it's bouncing again today. It's showing some life in it. But the weekly's been in a weekly sell now for 7 full weeks, going on an 8th week. And then from there, the Philippines seems to be one that's taking the brunt of it all. But you can see last 5 days now it's in a daily buy, and the weekly buy is trying to turn up. And you can see that there, too, at the same time. Let me see. What else can we do? Let's take a look at Hong Kong. There it is, the Hang Seng. And Hang Seng's been moving down and feeling the pain. And it's also in a weekly sell, but it's right on the edge of trying to flip back into the buy. And then from there, we go over to the Singapore Straits Times. Right there. And you see it lifting there. But unfortunately, as much as the daily is lifting up, the weekly has been in a sell for 4 solid weeks now. And then we'll just take a look at the Nifty 50 right there. And you can see that's been lifting up and it's all-time highs. And 4 solid weeks in a buy, going on a 5th. Let's check out the All Ordinary right there. And you can see that's doing the same thing. It's 2 weeks in a weekly buy. It's a couple days in a daily sell, so a little sloppiness there. And then we go over to the Nifty 50, or not, was it the SOX 50 in Europe? Let's see what the SOX 50 right there is. You see that it's trying to lift up a little bit, but it's had a lot of downwardly pressure, and it's 4 solid weeks in a sell, going on a 5th. The DAX, let's see what the DAX is up to. Oh, you know what we missed? There it is right there. Aramco trying to lift up. You see that right there. But it's been in a weekly sell now for 10 weeks. Aramco, Saudi Arabia's largest stock. And then from there we'll go to the DAX. DAX. Right there. You see that's going into a sell. I'm sorry, a buy. Buy. A couple days in a buy. 2 days in a buy, going on a 3rd day. And at the same time, you can see it's in a weekly sell. That's the thing. It's still pressured on the... but it's climbing. Look at the fast. It's through the 0 line, so we are seeing some buying strength in there. And then we'll go take a look at let's see what the CAC 40 did. That should be interesting. There's DAX right there. There's CAC 40, France, because of the elections. There's 5 full weeks in a sell, going on a 6th. There's 4 days going on 5 in a sell, but they lifted it up yesterday because of Le Pen. Le Pen got the majority of the vote. Capitalism slowly coming back to not fascism, capitalism. Fascism is a socialist thing, not a capitalist thing. I don't know why people say the opposite of that. And then from there we go look at the FTSE. And the FTSE, is showing the weakness of what the Tories are definitely going to lose. The question is, who is going to be the minority party? Will it be Nigel Farage's Conservative Party, which I believe it will be, and I think they'll beat the Tories, and then I'm not sure what's going to happen with the Labour. We'll see. All right, traders, we're out of here. That was it. Too much fun in one day. This is Doc. And we're going to label this, too, about NVDA and Amazon, since that's what we were looking at today. I mean, deeply, and people can see other things they want to see. But that is definitely what we were looking at. So let's put that up on the screen there. Right there. There we are. Let's put it up on, let's see, Dukascopy right there. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Catch you on the flip side tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Happy trails.